Hi everybody, it's me Ned, and I'm doing a long overdue update on the WRX. Here's what's going on with the WRX. Geez, I don't even remember. It's been so long.
So, did somebody hit you and they didn't
There.
motor or anything?
That's what's going on with the WRX. No motor. So, yeah, I'll just leave that open. Let's hop inside here. Look at all those fun parts. Look, equal length header, heat ramp, up pipe. What is that? That's my old 16G turbo. Yeah, 16G. Okay. Just stick that right up here. Okay. So this is a, I guess, long overdue update on this car. I don't know. Not that I have anybody probably that actually is paying attention to this this channel or anything, but so this awesome WRX, you know, the transmission had blown up. I had swapped in an EJ257 from an 05 STI. Got it working, got everything put together. Matt Miner tuned it. It was making 400 horsepower at the crank, 400 pound-feet of torque. It was fast. Blew up the transmission last autumn, in October, I think. November, maybe, something like that. Got an entire JDM version 7 STI spec C transmission, aluminum control arms, sway bars, like R180 rear diff, Brembo brakes, suspension subframes, all of that. Got that all swapped into the car, and I had it on the road for, I don't know if it was 3 or 4 weeks in the beginning of this year, in like early July, like June, early July, and the car was great. You know, the motor was making great power, it was geared lower, the larger sway bars like made it turn in better, all of the mechanical limited slips, like it actually felt like the way that those old videos of version 7 STIs like drifting around like Motegi in old Best Motoring videos looked. It was amazing. It would break the rear wheels loose and like rotate around corners on power at speed and stuff. So after 3 or 4 weeks, I was just driving down the highway and the intake cam seized. I was just cruising along. There was this bang. At this point now, my immediate response when something like that happens is to like hit the clutch, look in the rearview mirror to see if there's bits of car flying out behind me. There were bits of car flying out on the highway. Coasted to the side of the road, popped the hood, bailed out of the car, you know, to immediately see if the car was on fire or imminently going to catch on fire. It wasn't, but I immediately saw that the passenger side cam timing cover had like exploded off, and on closer examination could see that that intake cam pulley had grenaded. So I was like, wow, well, this is a more complicated fix probably. Got it towed over here to the shop. Eventually they pulled the motor, started to pull it apart, you know, identified that that cam had in fact seized. It had some kind of oiling issue, so that had ripped the head apart. So I had to get a new head. And even, you know, before we really got into it, once they sort of established that it had seized, I was like, all right, I'm rebuilding this motor or replacing it, something, one or the other. Probably going to be debris in it. So in the whole build up until now, you know, even with the STI 6-speed transmission and suspension parts and stuff, I was really going for like the most cost-effective solutions, trying to keep things simple and, you know, build this thing into a serious, like, giant killing car on a budget. And up until that cam seized, I was still, you know, I had a scary all-wheel drive, like, monster car that was really well balanced for the price of like a used Honda Civic. And then once that cam went and the motor needed rebuilding, I was like, all right, just gonna do it right. If I'm gonna replace things, I'm gonna improve them. So it's got a IAG built bottom end with forged internals, a slight overbore so that the pistons will fit better, you know, 2017 nitride treated crank, new heads, Brian Crower cams, Brian Crower valves. I got a new Blauch 1.5 Dom ceramic ball bearing turbo. I don't know what the hell else did I do. Oh, Bosch 1050cc injectors. That's the big piece, because I've already got a 320 liter per hour flex fuel pump. So with the injectors and the cams, because I was running original EJ205 intake cams on this because I wasn't running AVCS. So having the Brian Crower cams and the bigger ceramic ball bearing turbo, once this thing gets put back together, it's going to be a beast. But putting that all together, it's still not done. It's taken all summer. It's December now, so I'm not going to drive this over the winter. It'll get buttoned up at some point over the winter. I'll stick it back in my warehouse. I'll look at it every now and then. I'll start it up once in a while. Then in the spring, I'll have to get it out and do break-in with the motor, and then I'll get it down to Matt Miner in Rhode Island and have it dyno tuned, and then I'll be able to really actually drive it again. I'll be like, all right, now this thing is. I've also got Race Comp Engineering yellow springs, or they're black, I forget. They're significantly stiffer springs, but they only drop the car like 10 millimeters or something like that, so there will be almost no drop from them. But I've got D-spec adjustable struts and Race Comp Engineering springs that I think, along with the tighter version 7 STI Spec C sway bars, will really improve the handling of it. And at that point, it'll basically be done, and then I just need to take it to a racetrack and go and sort of be like, all right, I built this thing, what can it actually do? Let's see how fast is it actually. But yeah, so it's basically been a non-year. I've gotten 3 or 4 weeks of driving out of this car for this year, and that's sad, but it's going to be back, and it's going to be really a beast. And at that point, then it's going to be, I'm going to be into it for the cost of a new Honda Civic, probably maybe even getting close to a new Honda Civic Type R or Focus RS or something. So then I'm going to have to sit down and be like, should I have just bought a Civic Type R? Maybe, but I wouldn't have the excitement of this. At the same time, I also probably would have been able to drive it. You live and learn. It's life.